Saturday afternoon. It's a little bit warmer for a November day, especially for the East Coast. It's about at least about 8, 9, 10 degrees warmer than usual. But that could change any day now. Again, it might get very cold again. We're getting close to the holiday season. As far as the retailers, holiday season has begun. Welcome to the Madman Cafe, brunch with the Madman. Please come on in, have yourself a cup of coffee. First of all, you got to ask yourself, Zane, what's on the cafe menu today? And once again, we've gone back into the bag and pulled out Joffrey's coffee. This is not an advertisement for them, but it is a fantastic coffee to get. They're online. You can order it. They ship to you. You can get it in the original bean or you can get it grounded. I recommend get it as the bean and grind it yourself. You'll get a better flavor that way. Today's coffee that I'm having, let's take a... Ooh, yes, it's the Cafe Amaretto. It's a medium blend. It is very, very, very good for an amaretto coffee. You know, I'm not too much in a lot of these flavored coffees, especially in the amaretto sense, but a friend of mine's recommended. It is a good flavor, and basically there's like I said, a little bit of apricot in there, a little bit of hint of apricot, and let's have a sip. Oh yeah, that is fantastic on there. But like I said, this is not an advertisement for them, but hey, listen, I'm not going to stop you from going over to Joffrey's. And if Joffrey's left listening, oh, we love your coffee. So, getting started today. A while back, we had discussed this and how upset I was that this was happening. But we have some good news. With the AT&T Warner cutbacks, we knew a lot of programming, shows, websites. We're seeing Crunchyroll on its way to be sold to Sony. Warner Media division is being shut down. You're seeing cutbacks at Adult Swim, Toonami, Cartoon Network. You're seeing movies, TV series, and stuff like that being cut back as well. A lot of it being changed over to cheap animation, low-budget shows. You know, whereas the spending is cut completely. We're talking the streets are running red right now. And one of the things I talked about is over at the CW. They were planning a Dark Shadows TV series called Resurrections, and it was in the planning, and I've had a lot of people continue to watch this video, or the original video that I had talked about this, and still asking a lot of questions. When it's coming, is it still in play? Well, as of a day ago, it is considered dead in the water. Basically, it is not going to happen. This came out through TV Line Reports and bloodanddisgusting.com. The Collins family has been set to return to television in Dark Shadows Resurrections. You may recall a brand new series from the CW and Warner Brothers Television. Alas, we've heard this week that the plug has already been pulled. TV Line Reports Dark Shadows Resurrection never made it to the pilot stage. That's pretty bad if you can't get a series of this nature, which was very popular, to the pilot stage. And at this point is no longer in development at the CW. Doesn't mean it won't be developed by anybody else or someone else picking it up and taking it from there. But as far as we know, CW, it's not going to happen. The reimagined show was set to be a modern-day continuation of the strange, terrifying, and sexy saga of the Collins family, Collinsport, Maine. See, they say sexy saga. I know my wife said she loved Barnabas Collins, in the series on there, and I know a lot of other women from that era that used to watch it on there, and some today who are watching the original says, hey, he was attractive male. But the way they're saying here, sexy saga. It was a soap opera, but I think it was a very good drama. A very, very good drama. Of the Collins family, Collinsport, Maine, a mysterious, influential, publicity-shy group hiding a ghastly secret for the past 400 years. They lived under a curse that bedevils their blue blood with every imaginable supernatural creature in horror. The pilot for the hour-long gothic drama was written by Mark B. Berry, which did Revenge. The original was created by Dan Curtis. Aired between 1966 and 1971, starring Jonathan Fritt as Barnabas Collins. Tim Burton turned the show into a movie back in 2012. One thing they didn't mention, it was also a it was an attempt to do it as a mini-series. There are different versions of it via NBC that starred the late Ben Cross, who passed away just recently. Which I did also enjoy too. Certain things they did went a little fast on, but they kept the Ben Cross version stayed closer to the way the series went, originally from the 60s. The Johnny Depp one was too consolidated, very consolidated, and they put too many things up at once, and they kind of mixed some things up in and out. I mean, they were taking, I would have to say, they were trying to start around this episode 200, but they were including the first half before 200, and then afterwards, further into the color era. So they were all. I mean, I like Burton, but he was all over the place with this show. I think if they did it as an introduction with him coming in, as far as that, getting across, and then, ending a certain way in a dark portion of it to lead off to a sequel, not the way they had it on this, would have be a better way of doing it. And also, there were 2 other films done. There's the 1970 House of Dark Shadows, the 1971 Night of Dark Shadows, which basically the second one had nothing to do with Barnabas Collins. It had to do with one of the family members. Then there are also comic book adaptations, which just recently have been reprinted. There's a new print of them that's out now. Also, there are novelizations of episodes on audio that are available these days. You can get those, and a lot of them are with the actors from the original series. Their continuation storylines, some new storylines that are on there. So there is a big push of Dark Shadows in the fandom itself. But overall, like, the movie didn't do well, and it was not to the expectation to the fans on there, because, like I said, too condensed. They try to put too much in there, and it confused the audience, it confused the fans as well. I mean, you try to do this, and this is what happens when you do a classic. When you hear reboot, you got all these movies and TV series reboots. You're hearing Muppet Baby reboots, which is now going through lawsuits. And then you have, other series that they're trying to push out. You got Walker, Texas Ranger coming out next year. You're already starting to see the pre-roll of that now with Supernatural gone. I mean, what's CW going to do as far as the horror sense on their lineup? Because a lot of the shows are either canceled, going away, or coming back for 1 or 2 more seasons. I mean, we've been hearing so much as far as what they're trying. Every day you're hearing another reboot. And the thing about it is, a lot of these reboots are being done because some of them can be done very cheaply, because the networks are suffering. Companies like Warner Brothers, which AT&T Warner, are cutting the red tape everywhere. Everywhere they're cutting, and we're seeing reactions on this from all ends, including in the fandom, the movie industry, the television industry, direct TV itself. You've seen Crunchyroll possibly going to end up in Sony's hands before the end of the month. That's a possibility. We don't know. I think they're in final negotiations. I mean, there's so much going on. But now, with the Dark Shadows canceled, at least somebody's listening and saying, we can't do this. Or maybe they canceled it because basically it would cost too much. I would say it would be a little of both. Because if you're going to do a series of this nature, you're going to have to do it right. And not saying CW would have done it right. I think CW, as my wife would say, they would CW it. Because she really doesn't like a lot of shows. The only show that she really respected, and the only reason is that Netflix took it over, was the Sabrina series. And, they went real dark on that. But obviously, yeah, Sabrina was a dark series. The cartoon was more lively. The TV series was more lively. But actually, hey, you're talking about witches. You kind of miss the days of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Friday the 13th, the TV series. That's a series that really took it to the point when you're talking about you wanted to reboot something. And also the Halloween situation, which I talked about on Halloween, that Halloween the movie was supposed to be an anthology series when they did Season of the Witch, and it just didn't work out well. But when you look at Friday the 13th, the series, which did very well, and then, of course, you had the Nightmare on Elm Street series, which did but the Friday the 13th series was fantastic. And I think we need more shows of that caliber, more the imaginative driving. Instead of sitting there rebooting everything the way they have it, create new eras. I mean, the Friday the 13th had nothing to do with Jason Voorhees. Had nothing to do with the storyline. If you have not seen Friday the 13th, the series, it's basically about a cursed antique shop that sold wares to people that they were cursed objects, and the owner had went against the deal he made with the devil and was taken to hell, and relatives that he didn't really know took over the shop and began to reclaim all these cursed objects that granted those what they wanted and killed those around them. And it like I said, you could find some of it online. You could see, I think, YouTube, Amazon. You could find them on there. I know the DVDs are available. I don't think they upgraded to Blu-ray yet. But like I said, it was a fantastic series. Then you had Buffy the Vampire Slayer. One of the best series out there. This stuff like this can be done if you have an imagination on there. And I'm telling this to Hollywood because, I mean, they're dying out. Hollywood is dying. A new Hollywood is coming. It's the same thing that happened that's happening to comic books. Comic books, you're seeing a new type of industry rise from the ashes of this one. How long before DC gets cut from Warner? You're seeing some stuff that's going on. You're seeing some of the stuff that's coming out that literally it's a laughing stock. Same thing on the Marvel end. I mean, you were supposed to get that New Warriors comic. As of right now, I haven't even seen it yet. And as of today, when you're watching this, which airs 11/7/2020, it is still temporary out of stock on all the sites, Amazon, all them. That's telling me they pretty much put a kibosh on this, because basically, I mean, looking at it, it literally was crap. You had someone who was political, and this is what happens. You can't throw politics into these situations. And you look at CW, they've done it. Warner, they've done it. You're seeing this across the board. There can be great shows. There's a way of making money. There is. Why do you think Keanu Reeves raised the amount of money for that comic book on there? Why is Ethan Van Sciver, Alterna Comics, and many of the others, which people calling them Comicsgate, why are they making money? Because they're creating stuff the fans want. You have to satisfy your main consumer. You cannot get 100% of the consumers to like your stuff. If you can get to 90 to 95%, that's fantastic. That last 5 to 10%, they're not really your fans. They just basically there to criticize you, to put in their politics. And this is what it is. It's constantly, these are the same people day in. Look at the names on the people that are involved that you hear all the time. And you'll understand that basically these people, they don't care. They just want to make trouble. You know, you already had the Gamergate movie that BuzzFeed wanted to create, and people caught on to it and said, no, you don't want to do a Gamergate. They said, no, it's nothing to do with Gamergate. It's nothing to do with Gamergate. Yeah, it has to do a lot with Gamergate if you put it in the synopsis. That's why it's going to crash and burn straight out. You know, you have situations like this. You're making things political. You're making it hard. What is your end game? You want to destroy all of fandom? It's going to be hard to do. You're doing it on the shows, but see, the thing about it is, you've made the fans create their own stuff. There is plenty of stuff. Axanar is on its way. Axanar is almost here. More of Cyberfrog is coming, and I'm told, you know, Ethan Van is going to be doing model toy line. Hopefully, you know, and when you see these situations and you see what's going on, Keanu Reeves has a comic coming. How far is that going to go? How much money is that going to make? It's going to make him a lot of money. It's going to make him a lot of money. These are all this stuff that's already come out. You know, Sweetwater, a couple others. There's a comic book, Fatal, FATL. I funded that on Indiegogo. And I can't wait to see that. It is really good. I have another slew of Alterna Comics coming soon. It was delayed since August. Hopefully, I should see it. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping on there. I just ordered a couple of other things, a couple of mangas, stuff that looks good, stuff that there's a new anime coming out. It's a sort of a horror anime, sort of like a Saw type series called, I think it's High Rise Invasion, and it's sort of like you end up on the top of a high rise where there are like bridges between them, and there are masked people trying to kill you. You have to try to survive. There's supposed to be a season 1 coming. I think it's coming to Netflix. I got the first 2 volumes of them to see how it is. Hopefully, I should be getting it soon. It's delayed a bit due to weather. I know it's just reaching my distribution point. So hopefully I should have it in the next couple of days. But it is an interesting manga. Like right now, I'm just finishing up on Kingdom of Z and Gigant, which are 2 unusual mangas that I would generally not. Well, Kingdom of Z I would normally buy. It's a zombie one because I loved High School of the Dead, and this one it's similar to that. The other one, it's a little bit more nudity. The level, it's a little bit way above. It's an ecchi. It's above an R, so it's a little rough in there. But the premise is good. It's about a porn star that has the ability to, by the press of a button on her wrist, grow to gigantic size, like the 40-foot Attack of the 40-Foot Woman. And it's situations that her and this young filmmaker goes through, who wants to be a filmmaker and is a fan of her movies, go through, you know, how they're handling this situation, trying to find to resolve this situation of her being able to grow to large sizes. So it's you know, it's coming along with all this stuff, but looking at Dark Shadows, sorry it couldn't happen, folks. But you know, maybe it was to the better. Maybe someone will come along and do a better series for it. Maybe someone on YouTube can do it. You know, here's a thought for someone out there, because a lot of the fandom, I've never seen someone do a Dark Shadow. I've seen plenty of Doctor Who, Star Trek, there are many. There are a lot of horror films on there, independent stuff, dramas. There's a lot out there, and I don't know why Hollywood or the television industry has not tapped that, because there's some good stuff out there. There's some really good stuff. You got to remember, some of the people that were in the public access field are now in the industry, as reporters, TV shows and stuff like that. They moved on to handle some big top stuff these days, and that's what came out of public access. And then public access led to YouTube, and also stuff on Adult Swim. So when you look at Adult Swim, when you look at YouTube and all these sites, it came from public access. I always keep saying Eric Andre, we were doing shows long before Eric Andre was on the map. And, and a lot of other shows that are on Adult Swim and on YouTube as well. And some of those YouTube shows are people that were in the public access end and still continuing, like us, Cuticast TV. You see our Rabbit T Rabbit stuff, that is from the public access. We're trying to restore some of them on there, but it's going to cost us money to do it. Right now, a lot of that's on hold right now because basically, with COVID and stuff like that, a lot of crazy stuff going on. Before we leave today, let's respond to some of the comments that you've given me on our comments lines. Most of it's on the YouTube on there. We do get some comments on there, but unfortunately, language, we got a show on there. Okay, let's start with Stephanie, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, Stravopoulos. And she says, go to animationmagazine.net. The article mentions that there will be 2 hosts, male, female, hosting on Saturday. Yes, there'll be multiple people on the show. And this is from the MeTV Tune In Me. The reason I focused on Bill Leff is very, very well known. Not saying the other casts are not well known, but they're banking on his popularity on radio, podcasts, and many shows that he's done to bring in the viewers on there. So he has a long standing on there, and that's the only reason why I mentioned him specifically. But yeah, it is a full cast, and like I said, it brings back to the old TV shows, from the Bozo the Clown, Magic Garden, all these wonderful shows that they used to be on many years ago. They used to bring cartoons on, and they used to have fun with the kids and everything of this nature. I advise you, take a moment, go look around the internet or on YouTube and find these shows, because they were fantastic shows. They were fun. I mean, go all the way even back to Howdy Doody. There were many, many various shows. Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. I can go on and on all day in, day out, and it's a major cast. But it always focused on one particular person that drawn in to the show, even though everybody is just as important. Stephanie, thank you for commenting on there. I hope I gained your subscription. I earned it today, and continue please watching and commenting and liking and sharing as well. Okay, we have Cyrno, who replies, and this considers the Australian ban. It all starts with a lolly ban. The slippery slope is real. This is why any restriction on fiction cannot be allowed to stand. I agree with that. It is a major issue. From one of my Friday episodes, I discussed that basically the retailers are not going to hold to the ban, that basically they're going to figure out ways. And there's one company that already is still continuing to get at least 500 packages through the system. So basically, yes, things need to be done. Fortunately, I'm in America. We're going to try our best on this end. Australia, with you on this. We do have Australian viewers. We hope and we continue to bring this news to you, that you're able to see the situations that are going on. Maybe in Australia, they're not showing this. And basically, YouTube is one of the places that you can come to find out that these things are going on. Your mainstream media there is not showing it. They're only showing what they want you to see. But at least here on YouTube, we're trying our best to bring you this completely uncut, completely raw, as best as we can from the information that we can get from our sources. So thank you, Cyrano. Thank you very much. Hope you earned your subscription, and please continue to watch. Matthew Costello. Gotta ask, does this ban include One Piece and Boku Hero Academia? If so, then sucks. Okay, let me be more specific with the ban. The ban is to mature, anything marked mature material. In other words, if it has a rated R, mature label, anything of that nature. Now, from what I understand, One Piece, Hero Academia doesn't have it at the moment. But with the way Australia's been going and the way they want to ban anime, I would not be surprised if they change the rating on it. Their ratings board decides to flip it over and throw it as a mature on there, and would cause that ban to increase. So stuff like Graveyard of the Fireflies, Ghost in the Shell, High School of the Dead, like No Game No Life, obviously, Baccharut, a lot of others that have a mature content label on it are banned as of this moment. Others that are stuff, like I said, One Piece on there, Full Metal Alchemist, Sailor Moon, a few other Hunter X, and a bunch of others that are still in their listing. And a lot of others, it's a slippery slope, like someone else said. It's basically, you have to understand that when it comes to ratings, it's the ratings board that handles that. In Australia, that's government run. And basically, when you throw that on there, that you have government officials changing the ratings on items. I mean, perfect example, Cuties. Cuties should be in that ban. It should be exactly that. But no, they gave it technically a lower rating that would not put them in that process. And even if they go to a mature content on there, it basically would put to the point where they're not yet, as from what I see, they're banning it on the internet as far as what I can see. But if they decide to bring it on DVD, they're another slippery slope. So hopefully, things may change, hopefully, but I foresee that it's going to get worse before it gets better. So thank you, Matthew. Hope I earned your subscription there, and continue to watch. Now, Richard Greeter comes out. It's concerning the Transparency Tube website. It's funny, Transparency Tube comes out just a week before the election. This is not coincidence. Can this get people in trouble for no reason? This could get people falsely accused of hate and or arrested and charged for this hate, and could get really ugly really fast. It will get ugly. Yeah, it is. I mean, several people have talked with this gentleman that created this and trying to get them. Some people have had their site removed. Others have not. I know, from what I understand, Clownfish TV is still on there. It might have changed. Things change within the time period of recording to airtime. But as far as when I recorded this, no, it hasn't changed at that point. I mean, yeah, it just coming out before an election, and I don't want to get into this conversation about the elections because it's so crazy. I want to be away from that because I don't want to bring that to you. But just for this point, the point of causing trouble to certain people, most of the people that are on Transparency Tube aren't political. Nerdist.com, Heel versus Babyface, Clownfish TV. Most of these people are like me. We talk the fandom stuff. I try to stay away sometimes because of some of the subjects, like for example the Australian ban and a couple others, cuties, some other things. It sometimes comes into a political field. We try to dance our way through it and bring you just the pure facts to the nature and some opinions. And that sometimes it's hard to do without getting other political issues involved. But in this case, you have an issue where you start to throw this, and you've already seen there's been some bans on Twitter, there have been bans on Facebook. You had Parler, BitChute have had some issues as far as their websites individually. Especially BitChute. BitChute was down for quite some time, and that was right at the point at the beginning of voting and stuff like that. And I was hearing stories that there are some people in action, not to name any companies, but certain site companies that handle the web servers and stuff like that. They're claiming on Twitter that they purposely did this, and that kind of upsets me to the point, because there are a lot of us out there that work hard to put our shows together, and we don't want to put shows together that are, we're talking about the fandom, we're talking about Star Wars, Star Trek, comic books, anime, and stuff like that. Like I said, sometimes we have to sort of dance through the politics sections of it, but we're not political shows. Here at Cutcast TV, we tried American Asylum. It didn't do too well. There are talks to bring that back in a different direction, not on this particular network, on Cutcast TV. There are others that are wishing to buy the franchise itself out. Well, not really buy. They want to invest into the name itself and to do their own type of show. So, these are things that happen in this business. You get people interested in some of the things you do. But, in the case with Transparency Tube, it is a dangerous element, because the other half of it is that it's a list of names, and people will go out and go after people. I mean, you've seen what happened with Vic Mignogna. You've seen what happened with Johnny Depp. Could you imagine to the point where it's a YouTuber goes out of his house, gets shot or attacked, God forbidding, just because someone saw their name on the Transparency Tube that said that they were such and such in a particular belief aspect, and they're not, because there are people that are listed as far right, and they're libertarian, or they're liberal, they're on the left. This is why I left the political parties on both sides, for this reason, because basically it sickens me when you hear situations like this, where you can't voice your opinion. I have my opinion, and I will voice it, and I voice it the way I want to voice it. But when I see other people where they deem you this and they deem you that, it's wrong. It's wrong. No matter who it comes from whether it's the left or it's the right, I don't care who you are and whatever party you represent. You can't sit there and start to stifle people or to name or tag. It's like that saying from The Prisoner: I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. I suggest people out there go take a look at The Prisoner and look how it kind of reflects to what's going on today, on how things are going. And I'm not talking also politics. I'm talking overall. I'm talking social media. There's an episode. It's Prisoner episode 12, A Change of Mind. And let me give you the quick synopsis of it. After a brawl, number 6 is declared unmutual and is made to think that he has to undergo instant social treatment. Take a gander on that episode, and it's very important that you do, because this was in the 60s, and obviously there was no social media, there was no internet, nothing of that nature, but it kind of spoke ahead to see what happens on that. And it's the same thing with the episode on the Orville where they land on a planet where social media determines your ways in life. You know, that they can really condemn you to social media jail and just change your, you know, your mental thoughts behind that. And that also is similar to the Tripods sci-fi series, whereas they decide to wipe the conditioning of young teenagers. So basically, it eliminates their artistic abilities, random thoughts, and to be individual, pretty much. And this is what we're going to, you know, this is what happens. So Richard, thank you for commenting. Thank you. I hope I earned your subscription, and continue watching. Missy Mosa writes, can't wait. And she's talking about the MeTV Saturday morning and weekday tune in. Yeah, I can't wait either. I mean, like I've said on the episode, I mean, they're starting out with Looney Tunes. They could start bringing in other series like Super Friends and Mighty Mouse, you know, all these other. There's so many years of cartoons, TV series, Captain Marvel. You know, a lot of live action stuff. You know, for the kids, the Sid and Marty Crofts TV series, HR Puffin stuff, Lidsville. So there's so much out there that MeTV can pull into. And, you know, I'm just really tickled pink to see that somebody's at least out there for the fandom and knows what people want to see. So, Missy, thank you. Thank you. I hope I gotten your subscription on there. Albert DeMarco, he talks about the Addams Family reboot. Gets a little confusing on there with a lot of emojis. Hello, exclamation point. I think that's a flag. Sleepy, happy face. Television person. They did not reboot. They did not reboot my frightened self watching this shockingly channeled videos. Me too, Albert. You know. Well, basically, it is an insanity toward. There's so many reboots. And as you saw today, a reboot of a famed classic series, Dark Shadows, has been canceled. Thank God for that. As I said, you know, the money wasn't there for the show on the CW, but knowing the CW, it's not going to, you know, it wouldn't have done well. I might be jumping ahead, but knowing the way they've been going with their ratings lately, you know, a lot of the fandom not liking what they're putting out. Give me a second here. Ooh, that amaretto coffee's good. Albert, thank you again. Next one is, there are three of them, and basically they're considering the Australian band, and they're from three different people. We'll start with YTT Me. I'm from Australia. Thank you, me. Thank you for being there if you're Australian. And I want to do something about this. I feel I should contact my MPs and tell them I am against these bans, but I get worried that it might backfire if I bring attention to it and they disagree, causing I heard rumors that the Prime Minister is trying to find a loophole to let products come in anyway, though I know if it's true or if it will work. Well, it is still working, and it nothing to do with the Prime Minister. It has to do how it's packaged. BTW, the main troublemakers in Australia, causing all this mess, are Connie Bonos and Sterling Griff. Yes, we know about them. And being on a witch hunt against Japanese stuff. And also, you said that they have been trying to interfere with Japan and trying to get things banned. They're colluding with feminists like Keizu Ito. Yeah, there are issues. See, the thing about, you know, when you have people like this, that they're using this as a political ploy. And like I said, we don't get too much to politics unless it involves the story we in. And in this case, you have people that just basically use words to frighten people up. And this is what the Razzies did. This is exactly what the Razzies did against the Jews. You know, they riled people up in fears. And basically, you know, you go on these witch hunts and you start to attack. And then suddenly people, what are we going to do? Well, here, legislate this, legislate that, burn this, burn that. And this is the attitude that most of these people have. But they're trying to promote their own power and control. Because when they start to do this and they get these things, then they start to move on to other things and move up the chain. And next thing you know, your freedoms, your abilities to move around, all the things that you fought to get are now removed from you. You become a number. You know, like I said with the prisoner thing, you become a number. And that's not good. Thank you, me, for that comment. Mike D also puts on this. I think you guys need to form a party to counter this. You could be the world first weeb politicians. There are some in Japan, believe it or not. I think one did get elected recently into the Japanese Congress. If I'm not mistaken, I believe so. I have to look into that. I'll get back to you on that one. But basically, there have been out there. They are out there. Problem is trying to get them across, and a lot of them have to figure out a platform where it involves everybody and not. See, one thing about platforms on that, you want to be able to bring something to everybody. And yeah, Japanese animation, it brings out, there are many people who watch this. I mean, you can educate also. You got the animated series Cells at Work, which is a very good device, education device about the biology. That's fantastic. If you haven't seen that, it's a fantastic series. And we're going to talk about that on another episode. Some doctors have come on YouTube praising it. I mean, it's been around for a while, but season 2 is coming next year. You got to see what they're going to put on that as far as the show. But, when you're creating a political platform, you have to be able to say, this is what we can bring to the table. By saying, hey, listen, we want to save anime, blah, blah, blah. But you want to be able to be broad in everything else with it, that you're able to engulf this kind of politics, so many people will come to you and vote for you. I'm not a politician myself, and I dislike politics lately. But, it's a good idea, Mike. It is a good idea, but it is out there. Thank you for commenting on that. Sir Silent XX, you need something like the U.S. First Amendment and have it enforced. Second, please fire all your politicians and any lawmaker who agrees to this and put people in charge who will represent the weebs. Yes and no onto the situations. You have to remember one thing. Places like Australia had, First Amendment situations. But because the way the politicians were playing on there, they're starting to bend and twist. It's the same thing happening in New Zealand. And the same thing is happening in this country, in the U.S. as well. You're seeing what's going on with the elections. Not to go into it, but you see what's going on. And one thing is, and I said, you get out and vote, go out, stop voting people in. And I'm not talking about presidencies. I'm talking about people in Congress, people in your local district, judges and stuff like that. Listen to what the people are saying. Educate yourself. Go, it's very easy to educate. The information is out there. Go for yourself. Listen to both sides. I'm not telling you to listen to one side, listen to the other. Listen to both sides. But then cut through the bullshit, look everything up and see what everything is. There was an amendment to civil rights that was running in California, and people cut through the bullshit and found out that basically you're losing your civil rights, and it got knocked down in California. Thank God for that. So stuff like this, it's very important. It's very important. Educate yourself on any issue, and it's not only politics. Any issue, anything you see, you hear. See, if people more educate themselves, we wouldn't have the toxicity in Twitter and on Facebook and many other sites, and we would see a better aspect as far as people commenting. I mean, there are two sides to every comment, but there's always a consensus where the truth is in the middle. It's like a three-edged sword. I have my opinion, you have your opinion, and then there's the truth. Always remember that. We have to have both sides. We have to be able to have a consensus, to have a equal footing and argument. And basically we're able to work it out. But see, there are people now these days that just literally will use words that will frighten people. They talk about BLM, they talk about child pornography, they talk about racism and stuff like that, and they try to scare people and try to say, look, this is what's happening, and they use those words. I myself on Twitter have been told that, I happen to be a supremacist. I'm Hispanic. And my wife is, half black, and, in my family, we have both light and dark skinned Hispanics in my family. And, when you call someone of this nature and you say, oh, you're a white supremacist, you don't understand what white supremacy is. A white supremacist doesn't believes in purity of the white race, basically pure 100% blood. But you can never have that, because basically the way the world is we are all mixed. Whether we're white, we're black, we're Asian, in one way or another, we're mixed. And, we have to understand these things and respect each other this way. So thank you, all three of you. Thank you for commenting on that. I really do appreciate. Susan Fit 47, back on the MeTV article. That has been one of my most popular articles this past month, and I'm glad people are seeing this. So looking forward to seeing the debut of Saturday Morning Cartoons, 3-hour all cartoons, all time, block reminiscence of Saturday morning broadcasts of the past. Each hour will present a collection of cartoons featuring Popeye and Friends, Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies. Sunday morning cartoons is also scheduled to debut early 2021. Yeah, you're right on there, Susan. There's so much that they could use. There's a couple of decades of cartoons on there. I mean, there's some stuff I've even forgotten about. That I've been seeing crops of it coming up, like the Ghostbuster series, and I'm not talking about the Bill Murray Ghostbusters. There is another Ghostbuster TV series. It was more based on the Larry Storch movie or series or whatever it was years ago, and I guess someone took that idea and created this one, which had a catchy tune as well, but it went in a different direction, and it had a gorilla in it as part of their team. It was like a 3-team gorilla with a talking car, and they had to deal with sort of like a ghost mob. It was like a ghost mob, and it was a pretty funny series. And you can watch, lately it's been popping up on YouTube lately. So, I mean, try to catch it. It is a fun series to have. So, everyone, thank you for commenting. Thank you very much. Thank you for subscribing and liking, and it is important. It's very important that you continue to do this, because if you like this kind of programming, which I see that you do, we are still making adjustments to the show. So basically, there are stuff that is sticking in there, certain subjects and stuff like that. I see that you like a lot of anime, a lot of Saturday morning cartoons, a lot of classic things, and we've been focusing more on those lately, if you see, and also news out of Japan and Australia. Like I said, we have now people in, and I thank them for being there, Indonesia, Australia, South America, the United Kingdom, You know, these places have been on my listings constantly because I see also there's been an uptick in our Twitter. So we've been getting a lot of people from Twitter. We also been getting a lot of people from the search engine DuckDuckGo. I thank DuckDuckGo. If you haven't used that search engine, you don't know it, check it out. It's a very good search engine, much more accurate than Google. You will get a more represented response to what you're looking for, and not all the political jargon and bull that normally you've seen on Google. Even Bing is even I've gotten a good response out of the Bing engine also, and a couple of others that are in there that I've never even heard of. But I see what percentile is. I mean, like I said, my Twitter has, I would say, from my response has almost tripled as far as responses, and doubled on DuckDuckGo. Google's still in the listing on there, and also Facebook. Facebook was my top tier, and still is in certain criterias. But basically, we're seeing outside of the general spectrum of Silicon Valley, we're seeing others to come into play these days, which is a good thing. And I think you, my viewer, and I thank, because I see where it's being shared, and I appreciate you sharing them in these areas. I mean, I see people putting it on their playlists also, and I do recommend that. If you like the show, put it on a playlist that you like to play, because people do look at those playlists also. I've seen an uptick in playlists also from my viewership. So you tell me in the comments, for all the subjects we've handled today, please let me know in the comments below how you felt about it, Dark Shadows, everything that we've talked about today. Even the coffee. I tell you, I got to get another. Honey, could I get some more amaretto, please? She's back there on that, and she's probably cursing me and says, hey, I don't want to get more coffee. No, actually, I love her. She's fantastic, and I'll tell you, great cup of coffee. Like I said, it's Joffrey's, but it's not an advertisement, but they do make good coffee. Let me take a. So like I said, comment, hit that subscription, hit that like, and share the video. We'll see you on Monday at the Madman Cafe here with Brunch with the Madman. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy your weekend. A lot going on. We got the Fear, The Walking Dead is on this week. That World's End one, which is so-so, but it's sort of leading toward the Rick thing. Catch that. If you haven't caught the Mandalorian season 2, episode 2, that's out right now. I didn't see that there was an Archer episode on there. Connor's episode this week is also up. So still depressing as hell. A lot of other shows. Do hit those shows. Do hit a lot of anime. Also, don't forget, buy physical media. I'm telling you, you'll be in the better roundabout, because you don't know what's is happening to the the digital downloads. Remember, Amazon owns those digital downloads, not you. So until Monday, we'll catch you on the rebound. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you for being there. Thank you for showing up, and bye-bye now.